The two-time NCAA champion. Hey, Christian, it's Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Thanks so much for the time today on behalf of DraftKings. How you doing?
Maggie and Andy, how you guys doing? Good morning.
We're doing great, man. I know, obviously, this time of year, maybe your whole life, you've been hearing that highlight of the shot. Are you the kind of guy who, when you think back to your playing days, you think about the highs, or are you the type of athlete that only goes back to, the near misses?
Well, I definitely think of the championships and the wins and the games at North Carolina. I played for the Dream Team and I played a lot of games in the NBA. But still, the greatest games that I think of where the fans were the loudest and the animosity was the greatest was the Duke games at Carolina. There's something about the Dean Dome and the way the noise travels in that arena and 21,000 fans pulling against you. The games at Carolina were the greatest memories for me.
Christian, you might not remember this, but you came into the Dan Patrick Show where I used to work, and I beat you in ping pong one time.
No.
And
Don't say it.
Then you made me play you again, and you destroyed me. You shut me out. You are obviously quite competitive. I have a question about Danny Hurley, who I assume you've known for a long time through Bobby Hurley. He strikes me as something different, like one of those coaches who just has this competitive fire that I don't know that other coaches have. What can you tell us about Danny Hurley?
Maggie, I don't remember him beating me the first game.
Christian, it's a lie. I think it's a lie that he's been making up this whole time. He's been dining out on beating Christian Laettner at ping pong.
No.
I'm not even sure it happened.
You were in a hurry. We played to 5, and I beat you. I was up 3-2. Then you're like, well, I could be late. And then you played me again and beat me like 19-2. This is true.
Oh, okay, so I took it easy on you on the first game, but I turned it up in the second game and smashed you. So, yeah. I mean, that's what happens. Danny Hurley is a great coach. I love the way UConn plays. Even when they're not shooting the three-point shot well, let's say they're 3 for 15, in the three-pointers, they can still score inside. They can still score in the lane. I'm so impressed with the Hurley family as basketball people. And it all starts with Bobby Sr., who coached at St. Anthony's for 30 and 40 years. He made a great basketball player in his son, Bobby Hurley. You got to remember, half of the buckets that I scored at Duke were because of Bobby Hurley being my point guard, the quarterback on the team, someone who never wanted to shoot the ball. And I love that about Bobby Hurley. Playing with him was the biggest treat a basketball player could ever have.
We're talking to Christian Laettner, who did go back-to-back, winning 2 NCAA titles. He joins us on behalf of DraftKings Sportsbook, who customers are eligible for a one-time 44% profit boost. That's cute. Laettner's number. Any college basketball game between now and Saturday, April 6th. Opt in and apply the token to receive the boost. And, Christian, so you won back-to-back titles. Now you know what UConn is facing. They've made it back to the Final Four, coming off the title. What specifically is challenging about getting this close? You can taste it. 2 more games until you're a back-to-back champion. What's UConn? What's the biggest challenge in front of them right now?
The biggest challenge is to not approach the game like you're defending your title. Try not to think about defending your national championship. After we won my junior year and we headed into my senior year, Coach K implemented this great psychological ploy where he said to us, let's not think like we're defending our title. Let's go out there and attack and pursue our next national championship. So that's a great little psychological ploy, because when you think of defending something, you might be on your heels. You might think of protecting something, and you don't want to be like that on the basketball court. On the basketball court, you always need to be attacking. You need to be pursuing something. So that's what Coach K did with us my senior year. It was a great psychological ploy, and that's what makes him a genius coach, is he does stuff like that.
Christian, we had a debate on the show earlier in the week. Which would be more impressive, for UConn to repeat now, or what your Duke team did, given the state of college basketball with NIL and the transfer portal? Is it easier now what UConn is doing, or what you had to get through in the early 90s?
That's a good question, and I would say they're equally challenging. It's definitely hard now because of the transfer portal, and so many people moving around. But I think that's why UConn continues to be good over the last 5 or 7 years, because Danny Hurley's able to get some of his kids to stay. He has some juniors, some seniors on the team, which makes a huge difference. When you have guys on a team for 2, 3, 4 consecutive years, you're able to build a culture, a defensive system, an offensive scheme where everyone knows the pattern and the plays better. So I'm really impressed with how he's able to talk some of his really, really good players to, hey, stay here, come back for another year, and play for UConn. But today's game is what it is. And look at Alabama. They got lots of new players, and they're still in the Final Four. So it's all about the coaches. It's about how quickly you can get the kids to buy in to your defensive system and to run the offense the right way.
Christian Laettner is joining us, of course, back-to-back champion for the Duke Blue Devils. He's joining us on behalf of DraftKings Sportsbook, where customers are eligible for a one-time 44% profit boost on any college basketball game between now and April 6th. Christian, there was a whole documentary made about you called I Hate Christian Laettner. You talked about your favorite memories are playing in North Carolina where the crowd's against you. And you sort of wore, I don't want to say villain, but you kind of wore that, that guy. You were the dude. Angel Reese has said on the women's side that since LSU won the national championship, she has not had a moment of peace. And she sort of has taken on, in some ways, whether it's the media or fans, that she has taken on a little bit of the quote-unquote villain role. Do you have any advice for her, or what was it like for you? Were you comfortable in the role, or do you wish you could have been universally loved by everyone? What would you say to Angel Reese, who now feels like she's kind of embodying what you did in college hoops?
No, I wasn't comfortable with the role because no one wants to be hated. But you have to look yourself in the mirror and say, hey, I really only need my fans to love me, because the opposing team's fans, they should hate you because you're trying to beat them. You are beating them. They should dislike you. So the only thing I focused on was whether my Duke fans loved me. When I played for the Timberwolves and the Atlanta Hawks in the NBA, did my fans, like me and appreciate me? So that's the only thing that matters. And for Angel Reese, I would say stay off social media. Don't look at any of the comments. Don't look at any of the messages, because if you're on social media all the time, anytime you do anything, say anything, any game, there's going to be 100 or 1,000 people, on social media that don't like you. They're going to say they hate you. So stay off social media.
Why is it that a lot of neutral fans who are not from Duke seem to have problems with Duke players, guys who are obviously outstanding players? J.J. Redick, Grayson Allen, Trajan Langdon going down the road. Ever since you guys won those titles, it seems like there's always been animosity toward Duke.
Well, I think it's human nature to maybe pull for the underdog, and Duke is not often the underdog. A lot of times they're the favorite. Now, I'm not like that. I pull for Tom Brady all the time when he's playing. I love Tom Brady and I want him to win. But fans and the average everyday person, I think they pull for the underdog, and that's human nature. So I understand it. I realize what it is. And you just keep forging along and pushing along and trying to do your best.
Christian Laettner, we just have you for another minute or two. He's here with us on behalf of DraftKings Sportsbook. Customers eligible for a one-time 44% profit boost on any college basketball game between now and Saturday, April 6th, obviously 44. Laettner's number. Christian, you mentioned about the Dream Team, which you played on. Caitlin Clark has now been invited to go and participate in the workouts for the women's, for Team USA for the women. And would you have advice for her about being the college person who's just out of college, who's joining a team with established stars like Diana Taurasi, where you jumped into the Dream Team, which had more stars than any basketball team assembled of all time?
Yes, be prepared to be treated like a rookie, because that's what all the guys on the dream team did to me. They treated me like a rookie. They wanted to see that I knew my place on the team and I knew my role, which was picking up their dirty laundry, getting them cigars when they wanted to play cards, getting them donuts and coffee, before the practice in the morning. So you got to know your role. And I fell into that very well when I was on the dream team. And the thing I loved about the dream team the most is that there was no expectations on me besides those rookie things. For example, I didn't have to score 20 points for our team to win. So I just love that. And that's what I loved about being on the dream team.
Christian, I'm in New York. If you want a ping pong rematch anytime, you know where to find me.
Oh, geez. Well, you're going to have to bring me up to your show or the Dan Patrick show.
Yeah.
You guys got to get a ping pong table in your studio there.
Love it.
We'll
anytime.
Make it happen. We'll make it happen. Christian Laettner, on behalf of DraftKings, again, all customers eligible for a one-time 44% profit boost on any college basketball game between now and Saturday, April 6th. Opt in and apply the token to receive the boost. Christian Laettner, one of the all-time great college basketball players. Thank you, Christian, for the time.
Thank you.